Welcome back. Here's 5 things we learned as Manchester United crashed out against Sevilla in the Europa League. And let's hope that's the last of that god-awful music that we're going to hear for a long time. Hopefully we are now back where we belong in the Champions League. But I can't pretend it doesn't hurt going out in the circumstances that we found ourselves going out with. So first things first, number one, shameful. It was stinky all over the pitch, wasn't it? We were outworked, outmuscled, outthought. You would think Sevilla were a Premier League side, not a team that's languishing in like, are they 13th in La Liga? Nothing that we did went right. We held on to a lot of the ball. Now, them getting the early goal allowed them to sit back, and then you concede the very typical counter-attacking team goals. One was a set play, and then one was an absolute clanger after the ball's been smashed up the pitch. You see it all the time. But being outworked, outfought, and then even though we had so much possession, we created nothing. It was a physical mismatch, and it wasn't just the physicality of them, it was the intensity and the tempo of the way that Sevilla played. One thing that you usually get when a Premier League team comes up against a La Liga side is the Premier League team generally looks like it's got another gear than the La Liga side had, and it was the opposite way round against Sevilla, and that's never a good thing. Number 2, De Gea stinker. Again, horror show from him. He had a hand in the Maguire clanger, but it was very much a Maguire clanger. And he had a massive, massive hand in the other one. He was probably a little bit unlucky with the ball that loops over him at the corner. But it was a flimsy attempt at a save. New contract talks. There's a decision to be made with him, absolutely. But again, at the same time, this is the guy that's the current, leader for the Golden Gloves in the Premier League. And you can't deny that he's in that mix because he's literally in that mix. His shot stopping's outrageous. But all of the other aspects of being a goalkeeper, and especially the claiming of balls as they come in the 6-yard box, it just doesn't happen. United can improve on him. Now, you might concede some saves that he might have saved, but I think the overall gameplay of a goalkeeper could go up with quite a few goalkeepers that are out there for relatively good money. You're also going to be asking him to take a pay cut and still be one of, if not the highest paid player in the squad. So there's also the financial aspect of that. Where do you want to go with that? But then you've also got to consider the squad dynamic side of things. You're not going to be able to bring in 5 or 6 first-team players and have them all be a success next season. Do you want to replace the urgent ones, like getting a striker in, maybe bolstering the defence a little bit, use the keeper as a little bit of a constant, maybe even allow him to go on a free at the end of next season. Don't sell him. Don't have that upheaval now. Let him go on a free and spend the next 12 months making sure you get the right replacement in. Maybe that's an option for us. Number 3, Sancho sour. Performances like that one tonight are career-defining for Jadon Sancho. It felt like to me that was a player that just doesn't want to play for Manchester United. And I don't think that's the case. I think he came to Manchester United with the desire of being a Manchester United player. And I think he wants to be a Manchester United player. But the performances haven't been there. Some players can't play for United. Some players, United are too big. They'd be better off going forging a career elsewhere. He hasn't looked like he's enjoyed himself on the pitch anywhere near as much as he did playing for Dortmund. Is that the style of play? Is that the pressure of playing for United? Is that the reality of playing in the Premier League nowadays? It could be a contributing factor of all of those sorts of things. But the bottom line is, right now, if I had to make a snap decision on Jadon Sancho, I wouldn't be having him in my squad if I had the opportunity to move him on next season. He's had opportunities. He's been given a lot of grace from the manager, and he hasn't repaid that. Very one-paced, very casual, no desire, no heart. If he's not careful, he's not that young. I mean, he's not old, but he's not that young. He's not young enough where you go, he'll grow out of this. No, this is the time now where you're supposed to be having people purring about your performances, and he ain't done that. He's let himself down in a big way here. Number 4, Maguire. I don't need to say it. I've said it all before. His mistakes set off a chain of mistakes. And then there is a heightened level of nerviness when he plays. Our ability to play out goes to close to zero. He is cowardly in possession, and I don't think he's a leader. And I certainly don't think he's a Manchester United captain. And I don't think he was the worst tonight, outside of the mistake, which I think then led to other factors. But he wasn't caught out anywhere near as much as he usually is, even. And he's going to play till the end of the season. But someone needs to draw a line under that and move him on come the end of the season. I don't think having him in the squad has its benefits at all. And finally, injuries. Tony Martial got injured. Colour me absolutely flabbergasted at that revelation that Anthony Martial is injured. For all of the people defending him in the Weghorst versus Martial video me and Ronaldo did the other day, there you go. There's your answer. I can't remember what I said, but it was some words to the effect of, I don't think he'll play 10 games for Manchester United because he'll be injured. Only took him a game-ish. Luke Shaw limped through that. You got a semi-final on Sunday. You haven't got Varane or Martinez potentially for the end of the season. The quality drop-off from those two to Lindelof Maguire is an absolute chasm. The second-string players are not up to scratch. If Luke Shaw's not fit, I don't know who you play at centre-half. It might even be worth giving McTominay a go at centre-half, but that could also equally be a disaster. We can't seem to play under any adversity. We've got a good 11, and it's not great, it's good. Outside of that 11, honestly, I know the fashionable thing is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the worst thing to happen to Manchester United. I actually think it's a fucking miracle that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got second and third with Lindelof, Maguire and McFred in midfield. Because that's what we're looking like at the moment. You saw what happened with Rangnick and you see how it is with Erik ten Hag. When those players, and this isn't, even Fred and we had a good midfield actually against Sevilla. But look at what's happening. Once you lose Martinez, we don't have a striker. It's largely the same squad we were playing with. There has to be so much investment in this team and so much refreshing. Pep and Klopp have been allowed to buy 20 plus players, and Klopp got a lot of players through the door. His starting 11 that he took over to the starting 11 that he won a title with was so different. And that's what needs to happen with this team. It needs to be completely refreshed. Go dig out them fucking press conferences from Ralph Rangnick and go and say, what was he actually saying about some of these players? Because he was fucking right. They stink. And you're never going to win anything with them because they're fucking losers. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.